All right, so I want to take you now to KwaZulu-Natal, live event happening there. The KwaZulu-Natal government is giving an update with regards to COVID-19 and other critical matters. Let's take you there now live.
Central to our very survival during these trying times. We're meeting here today, and this briefing is taking place a week since His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa announced the regrading of South Africa to risk-adjusted alert level 2. This is a responsible and proactive decision taken by a caring government to protect lives and mitigate the impact of the third wave, which is engulfing the country. We already know that 4 of the 9 provinces of our country are already battling a third wave of infections, which should send a strong signal to all of us to behave responsibly and observe all COVID-19 prevention protocols. But before we get to the purpose of today, which is to provide an update on COVID-19, we must express our pleasure at the fact that KwaZulu-Natal has been chosen by the national government as the host for the commemoration of the Youth Day, and this will take place in Pietermaritzburg on the 16th of June. This is a day of profound socio-political significance, as it reminds us of a long and a painful journey that we have traveled together as the country and the people. It gives us an opportunity to reflect on where we are and where we need to go in pursuit of true and complete emancipation, especially for the youth in the country, to build a bright future for all young generations. We will therefore welcome the President, who will be a keynote speaker, as well as the delegation from our national government. And let's take this opportunity to also highlight one of the major milestones of our government on youth emancipation, which is the KZN Youth Fund. And as part of Youth Month, we're taking this opportunity to announce that as government of KwaZulu-Natal, we are rolling out the second phase of KwaZulu-Natal Youth Fund. For this purpose, we have set aside an amount to the tune of 50 million rand. This funding will assist many youth-operated businesses in the province. The Office of the Premier, working together with relevant departments, will soon announce the details regarding where young people can send proposals to for their businesses to be considered for this funding. The first phase of this program has already had a great impact in the number of successful youth-operated business ventures that have been formed and ended up thriving through this seed funding. We trust that this new fund will boost the prospects of young people and help them realize their aspiration of becoming entrepreneurs. We also know that COVID-19 has had a serious impact on the economy of the country. The recent Labour Quarterly Survey has highlighted the severity of the impact that COVID-19 has had on the economy, as reflected in the latest unemployment figures. Despite our constrained economic environment, we are encouraged by a number of recent investments in our province, which include the following: the Nyanza Light Metal, which is the construction of the first phase of the Nyanza Light Metal Titanium Dioxide, which is a pigment production plant, which commenced in March of this year. That investment is valued at about 4.5 billion. Secondly, the Wilmar processing, the construction of the 1.3 billion crude vegetable oil refinery, which is a facility that is being constructed in Richards Bay Industrial Development Zone, commenced in October 2020. Currently, civil engineering work are underway at the site, with piling and earthwork nearly completion. Once completed, the facility is set to create 202 jobs. You will remember that we visited Pepco Logistic Facility, which is a 1.5 billion facility at the Keystone Business Park in Hammersdale. We launched this on the 11th of May this year. Construction of this facility is currently underway, and once operational, the facility will create 2,200 jobs. You will know also of the DeFi Warehousing and Distribution Center. And on the 19th May, DeFi South Africa officially opened a 170 million warehousing and distribution center in Ladysmith. The facility has the capacity of loading in excess of 200 trucks per day and a storage capacity of 100,000 cubic meters. It will create 130 new jobs. The business processing outsourcing, this is a call center. The growth of the business processing sector has been phenomenal. About 15,000 jobs have already been created, with the potential for a further 55,000 in the medium term. We have spoken about the Durban port expansion, which will see about 100 billion invested over the medium term in terms of ensuring that Durban port is expanded, reduction of congestion, and increasing capacity of the port. Some of you participated also in the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding between KwaZulu-Natal government and the African Bank, which is the Africa Export and Import Bank. This Pan-African Development Financier, which is headquartered in Cairo, in Egypt, is already funding some of the projects in our country and our province, such as Nyanza Light Metal. This MOU will see a new era of investment in the province, which is highlighted by the 20 billion worth of projects which have been presented for consideration for the funding by the bank. All of these developments are warmly welcomed and extremely encouraged. They are like a bandage that will heal the wounds of unemployment and the loss of livelihood that have been as a result of COVID-19. We are quite concerned about the recent development in the Richards Bay minerals. We want to condemn, in strongest terms, the recent incidents of killings and arson at the Richards Bay mineral. As government, we are committed to working with all stakeholders to bring stability in this important economic belt of the province. We have full confidence in the capacity of our law enforcement agencies to bring to justice all those ringleaders behind the economic sabotage that is taking place in and around Richards Bay. On Thursday this week, the Mineral and Energy Minister, Minister Gwede Mantashe, together with a delegation from the provincial government, visited the area to pay respect following the death of one of the senior manager, Nico Swart, who was killed in a very, very brutal way. We continue to send a message to all members of the community to play their role in safeguarding that investment, which is quite critical in the creation of jobs. If RPM collapses, it is people's livelihood that will be severely affected. Let us expose the criminals that are involved in this and rise up against all those who are destabilizing our economy, especially at such a critical time. Coming back to the purpose of today, although there is always room for improvement, we must say that we are quite pleased with how the rate of vaccination has been proceeding in the province. From our 124 vaccination sites so far that we have created, and 18 in the private sector, we have managed to vaccinate a total of 360,451 people in the province. This is made up of 237,195 senior citizens who are above 60 and 123,256 healthcare workers. KwaZulu-Natal Department of Health will be opening a further 21 new vaccination sites this week. And this will be to accommodate educators who will be getting vaccinated from the 9th of June, which is this coming Wednesday. We will be receiving about 11,000. No, I'm sorry, we will be receiving about 110,400 J&J vaccines for this category. We already have a database for these educators which should be vaccinated as the process starts on Thursday. These educators will be guided by the management in their respective districts and circuits regarding which sites to go to in order to get vaccinated. Some districts will also open new sites where sites do not already exist, while others will have to designate their own existing site accordingly to accommodate teachers. We are also exploring the possibility of opening these vaccination sites over weekends because educators work between Monday and Friday. We are also concerned by a few schools which have reported high number of infections within a space of few days. For an example, on Friday, the 4th of June, one school under Umzinyati reported 16 positive cases of learners. Another school under the Utugela district reported 15 positive cases of learners. The Department of Education will continue to implement COVID-19 protocol and to provide necessary PPEs. With regard to the status quo when it comes to COVID-19, the latest information we've gathered over the past 24 hours is that KwaZulu-Natal has recorded 227 cases, bringing the total number of confirmed COVID-19 cases to 340,586. Sadly, we've lost about 10,534 people as the province. The province of KwaZulu-Natal continues to observe an increase in the number of new cases recorded weekly, and that is very concerning. The overall percentage change in the number of new cases between week 21 and week 22 was 24%. The actual number of new cases were 726 for week 21 and 900 for week 22 respectively. Amajuba district is the only district that has reached alert line, and cases have been slightly increasing in the 3 previous weeks. eThekwini has also been receiving the highest number of cases, although it has not reached the alert line. eThekwini continues to contribute the highest percentage of deaths, which is about 36% of the total deaths. And in terms of numbers of those who die at home, it's also worrying because 2% of these 36 are home deaths. The median age for death was 63 years. More than half of the deceased were females, which is about 54%. We continue also to see recoveries, and recovery stands at 325,295, and active cases are at 4,163. We will present you with a clear detail on the figures per district, but maybe what one can highlight is that in eThekwini right now, the total number of cases stands at 160,241, and the number of deaths is about 3,849. The total number of cases, as I've said, in KwaZulu-Natal stands at 339,992. The total number of deaths, as I said earlier, is 10,534. Now, this tells you of the picture, and if we break this per district, you will see that in terms of active cases, eThekwini it's at 0.7%, Ilembe 1.4%, Umgungundlovu 1%, Uthukela 0.9%, King Citshwayo 0.3%, Ugu 3%, Amajuba it's 1%, Mkhanyakude 0.1%, Hirikwala 6%, Zululand 4%, Umzinyathi 2.7%, and unallocated is 0.1%. So the active cases in KwaZulu-Natal as a whole stands at 1.2%. Many people have been asking whether the province is in the 3rd wave or not. The answer is that at this stage, we will say no. But in terms of our emergency early warning site, a 10% increase in cases over a 7-day moving average will trigger an alert, while a 20% increase in cases over a 7-day moving average will trigger a resurgence, which may indicate that we are entering a 3rd wave of COVID-19 infections. So we continue to monitor trends and signals of resurgence in the province. Our focus is on identifying clusters and conducting targeted testing in the affected areas, identifying and strengthening contact tracing, intensifying our risk communication drive with an emphasis on non-pharmaceutical interventions. Our strategy to deal with the potential 3rd wave stands on the following pillars: testing all COVID-19 suspected cases and their contact, isolation of confirmed cases, monitoring of those who are self-isolating, tracing all contacts of the confirmed cases, dedicating beds for quarantine and isolation as well as ICU, ensuring oxygen availability, accelerating vaccination. So this is the totality of the plan to cap the third wave. In conclusion, our main focus now is to accelerate vaccination and stay highly prepared should a third wave hit us. We are calling on techno-savvy citizens to assist with registration of our elderly and the rural poor. We have directed that all MEC champions, mayors, and Operation Sukuma Sake war rooms dedicate a week in their respective district and ward to monitor and facilitate registration for vaccines. Each one must register and each one must take vaccine. Even though our province has not entered the third wave of COVID-19, we should nevertheless remain vigilant and acutely aware of the potential risk of a resurgence of infections. We cannot overemphasize this. It is crucial for us to adhere to the non-pharmaceutical interventions, such as wearing of masks, maintaining social distancing, and washing our hands regularly with soap and water, or use sanitizer. Our memories are still fresh, and we have barely recovered from the tragic episodes of the first and the second waves. It is now proven that individual behavior, such as getting into large gatherings and crowded spaces, spreads the virus fast, and it moves quickly among many people. We urge all citizens to adhere to the level 2 regulations, which are indeed and are intended to keep us out of the third wave. Let us continue to limit our movements. The vaccine is safe, and therefore we call on all people to register, including the fact that the walk-ins are accepted, and when people come in, they get registered, and then they get vaccination. If your turn has come and you have been notified, please go and get vaccinated, because this is our only hope to stop the spread of the virus and save lives. It is up to you and I to ensure that the relatively low number of infections that we are currently seeing, though it is increasing, should not escalate. It is up to us to ensure that we curb the spread and not hit the storm. Let us save the day by doing what is right, and all of us should adhere to non-pharmaceutical measures and go to vaccinate when our turn comes. I thank you.